Hello, everyone, and welcome to GM the GM. This is a podcast about the weird and wonderful world of escape rooms and games mastery, all told from a games master perspective. My name is Gemma, and thank you so much for listening. Today, I am quite excited because I am going to talk to you about my top 5 escape rooms. Yay! I get asked all the time which is my favourite escape room, and it's very difficult to choose. I have not chosen just one. Instead, I've got a top 5. These are all equal, okay? The top 5 are not in any ranking. They are just my 5 favourites, and that's all. At the time of recording this episode, I have played 90 physical escape rooms, and I've also played many tabletop games and audio escape rooms as well. So if you add those to the total, it would be a guess, but I'm probably at 110, 120 rooms, which for some of you will be a crazy amount to have played. And for some of you, you'll be like, come on, catch up, Gemma. Where have you been all this time? So I know for an enthusiast to not be in 3 figures yet, I know I've got some catching up to do. But in my defence, I was travelling for quite a lot of time and I was very, very poor. So I couldn't afford it. The reason I'm saying how many I've played is because no doubt my top 5 will change as I play more rooms, and this way we can keep track. Okay, the first one I'm going to talk about in my top 5 is Lockdown Paphos in Cyprus. This company hold a special place in my heart because they were the first rooms that I ever played, and I've mentioned them in a previous podcast. I feel really lucky to have started my escape journey with this company because they were fantastic rooms, and even now, almost 100 rooms later, I still think that. They had a pirate room and a virus room, and the room that makes it to my top 5, drumroll, is the pirate room. Unfortunately, the room no longer exists because they have now torn it down, sob, and made another one in its place. But it is still in my top 5, and therefore the company are in my top 5 as well. If you are listening in Cyprus, then you definitely need to go and try Lockdown Paphos. The reason the pirate room makes my top 5 is because the set was absolutely exquisite. There wasn't a piece of the room left untouched or undecorated, and one of the owners was meticulous in making sure it looked just right before any players were allowed in the room. So, Kate, if you're listening, I still hear your voice when I'm resetting a room now, reminding me to just straighten that curtain a little bit because first impressions count. Yeah, I still hear you. The first impression of a room can make a really big impact, and it's something that you probably won't notice as a player until you play a sloppy room. When you walk into a room and it looks messy, or they just haven't made much effort with the decor or decorations, then you'll notice it, and then you'll think, oh yeah, well maybe you'll think, oh yeah, that's what Gemma was talking about. And you'll see that just making that little bit of effort, and this is the GMs I'm talking to here, but yeah, making a little bit of extra effort in tidying things up or straightening things and just making sure that everything is just right. The customers won't notice what you've done, but they'll notice the whole effect that it has. Something that was special about this room was that the GM was in character throughout the whole experience, and they were in the room with you. And I know that some people might recoil at this, but as long as the GM is a good one, then they should blend right in and enhance the experience. And it was really good fun to have the GM in there with us because they made a few jokes, but they also hung back and just blended into the background when we didn't need them. But then when we did need them, they were right there. So it took away any kind of delay. Sometimes if you ask for a clue, you have to wait for it to pop up on a screen, or you have to wait for it to come through on a computer or walkie-talkie. And occasionally I've been left about a minute waiting for a clue, and you've only got 60 minutes. This is a time sensitive activity here, so we don't want to be wasting any time waiting for clues. If the GM is in the room with you, bam, straight there with a clue, no waiting. And it was just such good fun that they were in character and dressed up. Really good. So that is why they are in my top 5. And if you're not in Cyprus, then go and play them anyway. Just book a flight. Book a flight to Cyprus. Not now, it's really expensive. Go out of season. But yeah, book a flight. Go and play Lockdown Paphos in Paphos. Right, so my next company to mention, and remember, these are in no particular order, but the next one is Time Trap in Reading. And the room that make it to my top 5 is Imaginarium. But this was really close with their other room, Station X. I really enjoyed that room. I really enjoyed all 3 of their rooms at Time Trap. One of them has just closed down now, unfortunately, but they still have Imaginarium and Station X, and Station X was fantastic. I loved the puzzles in Station X. They were quite wordy puzzles, quite thinky puzzles, excellent puzzles just to ruminate over and then solve, and it felt great. They have a great game intro room for that as well. And do you know what? The more I'm talking about Station X now, I'm thinking, why is that not made my top 5? But no, I have to be strict. And Imaginarium does just pip it to the post. And this is because of the sheer wonderment of the room. It is absolutely breathtaking. When I walked in, I had to take a moment just to look around and wow at this room. Just wow at it. I knew I was even wasting time, and I didn't care. I just wanted to look around and take in as much of the room as I could, because you can just see the sheer amount of work that had been put into it, and it was incredible. Absolutely has that wow factor when you go in. Apart from that, though, I had one of my favourite ever escape room moments in this room. And I'm going to try and describe it now without any spoilers, so wish me luck. There were 3 of us playing that game, and we were presented with, let's say, a table of information. And all 3 of us were stood looking at it and pondering when I tried to bring it back to basics. Us GMs, by the way, are a little bit notorious for overworking and complicating puzzles. Sorry, GMs, but we are. So I tried to bring it back to basics, and I said, okay guys, we've got this, 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 and this. And then my teammate picked up on one of the words that I'd said and said, well, I have 2 of those. And then the third teammate just walked over, selected what we needed based on what we just said, and solved the puzzle. So it was just a perfect, harmonious moment where all 3 of us contributed and got the right answer together, and the 3 actions were just swift and elegant. It was just fantastic. It felt so good for me to say something, then my teammate to say something, and then my other teammate to say the last thing. Well, she didn't even say anything. She just grabbed what we needed and just did it. It was definitely one of my favourite puzzle solves ever. The owners of Time Trap are lovely, so if you haven't played, then definitely get yourself to Reading in England. You definitely won't be disappointed. The decor, the unique puzzles, and the props are all fantastic. The next one on my list, number 3, is Tully's Escape Room in Crawley. Yay, Tully's! If there were only one thing I could say about the game at Tully's, it would be huge. Seriously, their games are massive. They do allow 2-player teams, but I would absolutely recommend at least 4 people, because I remember making it out of one of their rooms and just being flabbergasted that a team of 2 could even do it. And I asked the games master, I said, do teams of 2 actually escape this? and they said not very often, but a team of 2 have done it, yes. So I would recommend at least 4 players if you're going to do any of their rooms. They've got 4 rooms currently. I've only played 3. And the actual room that makes it to my top 5 is Nethercote Manor. This is a bit of a creepy room, and I enjoy all things scary and horror. And Nethercote Manor is a great mix of creepy, but not so much that it completely puts you off and stops you from solving puzzles. I have done a room like that as well, by the way. I might do a podcast later, an episode later, on scary rooms because I like them. But anyway, I've gone off on a tangent there. So yeah, it's a great mix of being creepy, but not so much that it puts you off. The set designs for their rooms are amazing, and the puzzles just go on and on and on. You definitely get your money's worth at Tully's. The reception area as well is really great. You walk in and there's a cool reception desk that makes a great first impression, and it's made up of loads of drawers, so it just looks really quirky and really great. And then you look around and it's a really lovely seating area, but the seats are all different, but yet they all coordinate. And there's also a bar there, so you can get a drink, a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, or a glass of wine. There are TV screens up on the wall that are telling you bits and bobs about the rooms. There's also little games on the table, so if you have a little bit of a wait, then you can just start playing little games to keep you entertained. So it's a really, really lovely reception and waiting area. But just to go into a little bit more detail about the actual room, the bit that I like the most about Nethercote Manor, and the bit that I found most unique, is the way in which the hints were given by the Games Master. The way that they're given is that they're actually whispered into the room. So you just ask for help into space, you just shout out help, and the Games Master will whisper, and it will come through speakers in the room. But I've never had a GM whisper any clues before, and it was just fantastic. And I don't know whether they added any effects to their voice or whether they were just really good at whispering, but it just seems to come from all around you like a ghost, and it was really, really atmospheric and immersive. I loved it. So that was great. Tully's, if you're listening, don't change that, because it was really, really cool. Next up on my map of favourite rooms is Brighton. Brighton have some great escape games. And the company that have made it to my top 5 is Peer Pressure. Yay! And the room that made it to my top 5 is Pavilion Perplex. So it's Pavilion Perplex at Peer Pressure. That's a lot of alliteration. I think that Peer Pressure currently have 4 games. I think I'm correct with that one. I have only played 2. I played Modraphenia and Pavilion Perplex. And even though Modraphenia is a stunning room with a rather amazing feature that I think I'm allowed to say because it's on their website, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. But basically, you walk into the room and there's a 1960s Vespa in there. I mean, wow! I've never seen a vehicle in a room before, so that was really, really cool. And you're allowed to sit on it for your team photo as well, which is good. But the reason that Pavilion made it to the top 5 above Modraphenia is that I played these rooms as a team of 2, and Modraphenia is designed for between 4 and 9 players. So we did struggle a bit in Modraphenia with just the 2 of us. And bless the Games Master, he came in and helped us with some of the puzzles that were difficult for a team of 2. So I do want to thank Rory for his stunning patience and help through us bumbling through the game. It just went on, but that was only because we were a team of 2. And just bless you, Rory, for letting us finish it. Thank you. That was very kind. I know you probably just wanted to go home. Pavilion is much easier as a 2, and once again, the set is wonderful. It lays hidden behind doors in the reception area, which really adds to the wow factor, as you have no idea what's behind the doors. So when they are opened and you're presented with this gorgeous room that's really lovely decorated, it's a great moment. I must say, though, that I had one of my best Games Master experiences in this room. I don't mean me as a Games Master. I was a player in this instance. But the Games Master that we had really enhanced this experience. So much so that she needs a shout out. So her name was Isla, and she was in character from the very start. And she played the part really, really well. So you get your game intro from the Games Master, and they're in character. And if you get Isla, then you're in for a treat. She was really, really great. She made us laugh, explained what we needed to do, and never broke character. We then went in and played the room. I probably should say, actually, that this room makes my top 5, even though it did have a very, very, very frustrating puzzle in it. I'm not going to tell you anything about it because we don't give spoilers, but I did get quite frustrated with one puzzle in particular. After we finished the room, Isla was lovely. She was reassuring and friendly, and, you know, she hadn't lost her patience, and she wasn't annoyed at us for being annoyed at the puzzle. She was just really, really sweet, and definitely a memorable part of the experience. And I'm really looking forward to going back to Peer Pressure and playing their latest 2 rooms. They look fantastic. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, guys. See you soon, hopefully. Now, lastly in number, but not in preference, we're off to Cambridge for my final room in my top 5. This one is Cambridge Escape Rooms, and the room is Heaven and Hell. I played all 3 of their rooms as a team of 2, and we did them back to back, and we managed to complete all 3 of them within the 60 minutes, though one of them only just. I think we had 3 seconds or so to spare. Cambridge Escape Rooms are incredibly generous in their post-game trinkets. Not only do you receive a lovely antique key, which is also a bottle opener and a key ring, and has come in very handy, so thank you for that, Cambridge. I've still got mine on my key ring. You also get a little photo key ring of your team photo. So they take your team photo and then they put it into one of those little key rings that you usually get at amusement parks. And you get that for free. Thank you so much for your generosity, Cambridge. That was fantastic. Those trinkets aside, you know, that's got nothing to do with the room. That's just about the company. To go into a little bit more detail about Heaven and Hell and why it was great, once again, the decor and the theme were fantastic. They were just so well done. And the concept was quite different. In the Heaven and Hell room, you are free to explore the afterlife in both heaven and hell. And only a defibrillator will get you back to life after 60 minutes. So I can't go into too much detail, obviously, no spoilers, but this game is just wonderful and unsettling, which as a lover of anything creepy was great for me. Certain parts put you out of your comfort zone and test your courage, whilst other parts delight you and make you feel like a kid again. The sheer physicality of some of the puzzles and devices in this game were impressive, to say the least. I loved the contrasts in this game. It really, really takes you on a journey, and it really gets you to do some things which you might not want to do, and then some other things that you cannot wait to do. You look at it and think, yeah, I want to do that. That looks so much fun. You really get taken on a journey with that room. It's fantastic. Really, really great. So I'd advise anybody in or around Cambridge to get themselves over to Cambridge Escape Rooms and definitely try their Heaven and Hell room. So there we have my top 5, and I have really enjoyed talking about them. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about them. I absolutely adore talking about the fantastic rooms that I've done. And I'm going to put links in the show notes for each company so that you can check them out if you want to. And definitely let me know if you've played any of them and what you think. You can find me on Facebook by searching GM the GM, or you can email me gmthegm@aol.com. And if you're enjoying my podcast and feel like you'd like to donate, then you can find me on Patreon as well. www.patreon.com/GMthegM. So thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you next time. In the meantime, keep on escaping.